All right, so it's looking and people are searching for videos on drum set coordination. And first of all, my opinion on that is if you can't do it or you're not very good at it and you practice it, it's going to help your coordination. So, I mean, at that point, just practice anything you're not good at. But on screen here, I have like an exercise that I came up with. I just came up with it, so I can barely even do it. And I thought it would be more interesting to see people just be awful at stuff, because a lot of times, you go online and people are like, look at this exercise, try it out. And then they practice it after they've mastered it, and it seems almost like hopeless for the average individual, until you realize you just got to be yourself and accept where you're at with everything. So with this, I can barely do it, but I thought it'd be more interesting to potentially talk about like how I came up with it. So if you look at this, I can make it a little bigger. If you're looking at this, basically the top line is going to be your right hand. The second line down where the snare is would be your left hand. And then down, the third line, or not the third line, but the second from the bottom would be your right foot, your kick. And then the X on the bottom would be your hi-hat. So I kind of organize it like that. I know the top line, that's typically like where your hi-hat or ride would go, but I don't really care. It's just trying to get an idea out visually so I can see it and wrap my mind around it faster. The other thing you'll notice is there's these triangles. So just to keep it cleaner and it's faster, to create, I know it's not the right symbol for a flam, but once again, I don't really care. So if you see a triangle on the second one down, it's like this one right here. Oops. This triangle right here, that's going to be flam left because it's on the left hand, and then this would be flam right. So I just kind of do it that way. I don't know. I just thought it looked cool. The triangle, I don't know, whatever. So anyway, those are your flams. So basically how I came up with this was, I'm trying to develop my coordination too. And I realized my flams over the years haven't been very good. And then I started doing flams. This is just a flam tap. So if you do that, it's just boom, flam left, left, flam right, right, flam left, left. So these are just flam lefts and rights. And then the feet, kind of what I came up with. I was like, let's just do an ostinato. My feet isn't very good. Why not do 3 beats in a row, and just make it difficult, So it's just skip a note, make an ostinato pattern. So 1 and 2 and 3 and dun dun dun. And then I was like, well, I gotta also get my left foot doing something. So now you have that. I think it's a rumba clav or something. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 10. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So my point is like I just started this and I can't do it at all. I had a different version, and I mastered that, and then I moved the feet around, so now I'm like relearning the whole thing. And a lot of it is just sucking up your pride and realizing where you're at and being okay with being really bad. Because if you're afraid to work on really hard stuff, you can make it too hard to where you're just wasting your time. But so dumb it down. And an example of that would be get rid of the flams and just do doubles. So let's just do the same pattern, but pretend that's not a flam, which is why I kind of like doing it this way, because it's visually you can kind of dumb it down. So instead of doing right, flam left, left, flam right, right, flam left, left, like that, just do it a double. Right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. And you can simplify the feet, everything else. It's just, the point of this is like, I'll try to practice it at the end here for a few minutes, and it's going to be awful because I'm so slow at it. But I'm not afraid to work on it, and you'll give me a couple days, and I'll be at a decent tempo. And the other thing too, real quick, is the notation. Like, you don't have to play it as 8th notes. You can play it as 16th notes. You can kind of put them wherever, and then it gets even weirder and more creative. And I think what I'm trying to say is really, you don't have to practice this thing for coordination. but you have to figure out what's interesting for you and work on that. And if you're bad at it, don't be afraid to work on it. And then it kind of evolves, because if you get in there and really just practice things you're terrible at, your brain starts going, and then you start being like, well, what if I could do that? Well, what if I could do that? And then you kind of develop your own exercises, because in my opinion, I don't think we need 500 people mastering this exercise because it's me. But if you understand the approach, you should be able to go with your own ideas and take the approach and just run with it your own direction so you can be you, because the world doesn't need 500 me's. It doesn't need 500 yous. It needs one me. It needs one you. There's already been a John Bonham and et cetera. John Bonham's John Bonham. Let him be. You got to be yourself. And just, I think, as I get older, just coming to terms with that and accepting where you're at and not being afraid to be like, I don't really care about that. But you understand the idea of like why I'm playing it for me. You can apply that to your own playing and go create your own coordination exercise. And, you know, even if you don't know how to read sheet music, and you don't even have to write sheet music, you can just use numbers, you know, like create a pattern, like pick a number, pick 10, pick 11, pick 16. And this, if you count it out, that's 4, 8, 12, 16 notes, or 16 beats, I mean. So just pick a 16 pattern and make one up and work on that. And if it's too easy, good, and make it harder, you know. And another thing too is when I create it like this, I'm kind of, sometimes you want them to be, the exercise to be easy enough so that you can develop higher speeds more rapidly. But sometimes, you know, if I find myself, like I said at the beginning, lacking at flams, I will go down and try to kill multiple birds with one stone. So my multiple birds in this situation is working on flams, a left foot melody with a right foot ostinato. Like those three things, you know, that's three different things happening at once to make it more difficult for me, you know. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll try to work on it here just to show you how bad it is, and then maybe, you know, in like a week I'll give a follow-up just to be like, look, see, I'm figuring it out. And the other, just whatever you decide to do, just suck up your pride and not be afraid to go slow, because there's nothing out there you cannot play if you just go slow enough. And speed is something you can't rush, you know, like you just have to, like I said, you just have to come to terms with where you're at and just let it be, and then just get in there and go do it. It's really that simple. Like nobody's perfect. There's too much to know to stay on top of it and ever, gosh, I mean, the moment you think you're doing good, you can go online. I can find 10 guys in probably 3 minutes that are just clobbering whatever I'm trying to do, you know, but also who cares? You know, they're them. Let them be them. Good for them. Yay. I'm happy for them. Good job. Back to being me. Because I think Mozart, I'm pretty sure is who it was that said something along the lines of like this speck on the wall over here. He said, should have lowered that smoke. He said that speck on the wall is what Mozart said he knows about music. And he's like, this entire wall is all there is to know about music. So it's just impossible to be on top of everything all the time. You can, but it's about being on top of your game and where you're at. It's not about being on top of everything all the time, because there's just so much. It's always evolving. That'd be like, it's kind of like the internet. The internet's always evolving. You have to stay on top of like what's changing about it. But I mean, to know the entire internet is just like impossible and stupid to even think about trying, you know? So just be wherever you're at, keep focusing on whatever it is you want to know. And if you're bad at it, but you want to know it, that's probably where you should go. Or if not, if you want to know it, but if you want to know it, if you want to get better at it, that's probably where you should go to develop coordination. That's where coordination comes in. If you can't do it, go suck up your pride and go figure out how to do it. So it's not like one specific exercise all the time, you know? And I guess what I'm trying to say is like if you're clever enough, you can create, you know, if you're clever enough, you can create your own coordination exercises and just kind of morph it into whatever it is you care about. So I'll turn this on, and I can barely do it because I just made this morning. And I made it extra hard on purpose because I kind of mastered the previous version I had of it. So we'll see. So see, I already screwed up. One other thing I'll say real quick too about the metronome is like I like to do it for time. You could do it for reps. You can do it forever. But like for example, when I start out, it's really slow because I want to get it right and the movement right. But I'll go up for after like 5 minutes. I'd probably go up like 5 BPMs, and you'll kind of climb that ladder. But then when you hit a peak, you slow it down. You might still be able to go up 5 BPMs, but it might not be every 5 minutes. It might turn into every 10 or 20, and then eventually it'll turn into like 1 BPM. And at some point, if you're way up there, in like 200 BPMs or something, it's probably going to be more like a BPM a week or a month or something at some points. And I think that's where a lot of people drop off, is they don't want to put in that kind of time. They just want to be amazing right away. And there's a reason not a lot of people are super incredible, because the incredible people do all that extra work, But none of that really matters. You just got to be you and have fun with where you're at. And if you're not doing that, then I'm not really sure what the point is. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'll try this again for a couple minutes, and then I talk too much, and we'll move on. And then I'll just end the video, and you can practice it or go make your own thing. I'm going to put this over here, actually, so I don't have to break my neck. Oops, see, I screwed that up. One too many hi-hats. That's the other thing about going slow when you're by yourself, is if you go too fast, if you're alone and you don't have an instructor or somebody with you, like, you're the only person who can tell if you messed up, really. So if you go slow enough, your mind is keeping up with your muscles, so you can keep yourself on track and ensure that you're actually doing it right. Otherwise, you could probably do it faster and be like, well, did I do it right? If you don't even know if you did it right, then you're going too fast, because you need to wait for your mind and your body to catch up to each other. Sometimes your body is faster than where your mind's at, and sometimes your mind's faster than where your body's at. You need to keep them up together, I guess. But right. Everybody just be where you're at. This is like, this is not necessarily applicable to a song. It's just like connecting the mind and muscle together, I think. So that way when I go be creative, I just think about music differently, and I come up with more interesting things to play, I guess. But screwed up. Screwed up again. Oh, for crying out loud, here we go. Oh man, see? Screwed it up again, but I'm starting to get it already. If I don't rush it, it'll kind of click, and then I'll probably fly up the BPMs pretty rapidly. But it's got to like sort out in my brain or something. I don't know. I don't think I did it right. Nope, see, why do I keep doing that? Old habits. That's why I switched the pattern up, because my old pattern I got kind of too used to. See, I'm already 5 BPMs faster. It's starting to click. But, you know, it doesn't have to be that difficult. For me, that's just where I'm at. But everybody's at their own spot. Dumb it down. Don't. Nobody will even probably watch this video, but whatever.